It was really boring between the two clubs. But up until that point, I was on my phone, but I looked up Rudy's scores. But I got the sense something wasn't right because of the way the referee was acting, the way the Colorado players were standing. I was like, this is going to review. Now, I know from the NFL, every scoring play is reviewed.
Right.
So I thought, Major League Soccer does the same thing. They have to review every goal.
Yeah, it's not the case.
So I was a little bit confused. I had Armand texted me what's going on up there. I was a little bit confused. Well, the referee points to the box, so we know, okay, it's a review. Then he calls it back. The problem is FC Dallas did not do a good job of either putting a replay of the entire play, so nobody can even try to assume what happens. Nobody knows what's going on. If something like that gets called back in the playoff game of the conference final,
it's going to be madness.
It's going to be a riot. There's going to be a riot. Okay,
right.
The fans have absolutely no idea why the referee is calling back a goal. In the NBA, there's a reason why. Okay, they're getting a flagrant 2. They're getting a flagrant 1.
Right.
Okay, whatever it is. In NFL, Egg Hockley, the buff referee who works out 7 days a week, sits there and tries to explain to you, literally to the detail, player 24 had his hand on player 6 helmet for 7 seconds. That's not allowed, blah, blah, blah. MLS has an issue with not being able to explain why something get called back.
And even the explanation of it's a little confusing if you think about it, because why this was called back was because that was during the attacking phase of play. It was an infraction.
So what is the attacking phase of play?
The attacking phase of play, off the video review sheet that we received from the press box, says that the phase of play is determined by the referee when a team starts the attacking move towards the opposition's penalty area, leading up to the match-changing incident.
Which is crazy because VAR right then and there, you sit there and you're like, even Colorado, I think, when Urruti scored, said they scored. They didn't think something would get called back. But now you're having clubs suddenly have to change their tactics.
And the thing is, Pablo Mastroeni, after a game, he told me that...
he told you personally?
Yeah, he told me. It's on the MLS website if you want to read it.
There you go. Shameless plug.
He told me that he thought another play should have been reviewed. And I don't know if you remember, it was kind of earlier on when Badji got pulled down by Harris in the penalty box. I don't know if you were watching it or not, but he got pulled down, and he thought that should have been reviewed, but apparently Alan Kelly said no. So, I mean, even when it went his way, they had a little gripe with the VAR, and Oscar Pereira wasn't really happy. I mean, it's the second time in 2 weeks that they've had a goal taken away, and at his press conference, it was just a long, 10, 15-second pause before he talked about it. It was,
he didn't want to get fined.
Yeah, it was.
He did not.
Hedges even said that. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get fined. I mean, it's definitely changing the way how
it's changing the sport completely.
Yeah, it's
because it would have been better for Urruti to hold the ball up, wait, make 2 or 3 passes, and then have scored.
But still, the attacking phase of play.
No, it would have redirected the...
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
The attacking phase of play stopped.
Yeah.
So you're changing the entire... How is Urruti ever supposed to know that goal came off the attacking phase of play? Famously, the 2015 MLS Cup between Portland and Columbus, remember, the ball went out of bounds. The first goal scored.
That, yeah.
To me, that goal should have... Because that attacking play, the ball should have never been... That would have clearly was out of bounds. That goal would have never happened, that first one by Portland.
Right.
When they were playing Columbus.
Yeah.
So to me, yes, that's when you use VAR. But something like Urruti...
How
are you going to call that back?
Because soccer needs goals to be entertaining in America, let's be honest here.
This is not the Premier League where you can have an exciting 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. So the implementation, I know because some of my writer friends are talking about this, that taking away goals in a sport that needs goals is pretty dumb if you think about it.
And what is VAR supposed to? What do they on the sheet? What is it? What is the definition or the reason why VAR is there?
So VAR is all about a clear and obvious error. The on-field decision will only be overturned if the video indicates a clear and obvious error in one of the 4 match-changing incidents. So it talks about goals, penalty kicks, straight red cards, or mistaken identity.
So great, and it goes. The sheet goes on to explain.
Yeah,
in
the sheet's
detail.
actually really good because I don't know. I think every casual fan should have one of these.
Yeah, but that's not how soccer is played. I mean, here's the VAR is implemented at Major League Soccer, right? What about the college game? What about USL? What about the smaller divisions? How are you if you're training a player today and he's 6-7 years old? Well, VAR is completely changing how the attacking phase of play is suddenly viewed. You suddenly have to start worrying about, well, I know my player just fouled that guy. I'm not going to counterattack because my goal is going to be taken off.
But it's all judgmental. So if the referee looks at the video and says, "Okay, that wasn't a foul," the goal will stand.
Well, then you got to start asking what's a foul and what's a not, rather than just leaving my entire thing for VAR should be for instant replay post match. So the diving, all that, I love that. Goals. You have goal line technology. That's good. That's easy. Takes within 2 seconds. Olivier Giroud against Leicester City. Literally took 2 seconds for the referee to say, yes, it was a goal. Giroud was looking at him like, was it a goal? Was it in? I thought it went in. Peter Schmeichel takes the ball out. No, the referee knew it was in. It was in. Great. Spain and France a couple months ago had an instant replay where a goal was looked back to see if it was offside. I like that. Okay, if what they should see is they're going too far and too deep quickly with this system.
I agree with that. I agree with that they're going too deep, especially with the attacking phase of play and whatnot. I think it is too broad of a spectrum, but I think also it's interesting. I mean,
mistaken idea.
That's okay too.
Sure, that's easy. The referee at the top of the stadium or wherever he is in the press box could have a little private corner, a little closet. Nobody can disturb him. It will be locked, so nobody can go pay him.
It's actually blocked by security guards.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Blocked by security guards, so there's no tampering. Great. He could sit there and be like to the middle guy, "Hey, you carded the wrong guy." Takes 15, 20 seconds to fix. Penalty kick. I understand because now with the diving and with everything being so controversial, yes, I understand why you would take that and look back there. Famously, was it the World Cup when Holland played Mexico?
Yeah, with Robin.
Yeah, Robin. Like, if that would have been reviewed, probably the outcome would have been a little bit different. I don't know if he would have gotten the PK.
Right.
But the attacking phase of play, you're changing the game completely. How has MLS come in and say, we're changing the style of game? FIFA's going to look at them and be like, wait a minute, this is not good. The Premier League's not going to want to implement this.
My problem is it's coming in mid-season. I don't think it should have been implemented mid-season. I think we should have waited until the 2018 season. Because now you're just confusing everybody. Oscar Pereira said in his press conference, they just want clarity. They don't know what's going on. They just want clarity. And for the second time in a row, they've had a goal taken away. It needs more work, and we saw the need for clarity in Orlando City and New York with Kaká.
Yes, let's talk about the other instances.
Because that one, I think, it isn't as match changing, but it's almost as bizarre.
Well, because it happened in
like
the 4th minute, or actually the 97th minute of the second half. So it was at the end of the game. Game was over. But imagine if this was the 45th minute. Say right before the second half started, or the end of first half. So Kaká was shown a red card following a bizarre, video review into stoppage sign against the New York Red Bulls. So as time was winding down, the Red Bulls were up 3-1. They had the ball went out of bounds, and the Orlando guy got up. New York Red Bull came and clashed. I don't remember who, but Kaká. They got together. Well, Kaká famously jokingly put his hands around the mouth
of Aurelien Collin.
Yes, Collin, and they were,
they were teammates,
past teammates, and they're laughing about it. They're joking off the incident. It's the end of the game. Game was over. They're
laughing, smiling.
So, the referee points to VAR and then looks back to check, gives the 2 yellow cards out, and red card came out for Kaká. And you're sitting there going like, wait a minute, what's going on?
It was for the hands to the face.
Hands for the face. And Jermaine Jones in the 2016 Copa America quarterfinal against, it was in Seattle. I don't remember who they played. Ecuador, but he put his hands he just barely put his hands on somebody's head. I mean, it was just kind of like, like, hey man, like, it was friendly. It was a friendly hand on head. And he got a red card for that.
Right.
And they made a new rule. No matter what, you can't put your hand on somebody's head.
Well, if that's the rule, then the ref did his job.
No, the referee did his job. But the VAR came back and changed that.
And they gave him the red.
And gave Kaká the red.
Do you think it was a warranted red?
Yeah, I mean, according to the laws of the game, yes. But the referee should realize and understand the situation that he is in.
And again, but that's not a VAR thing. The thing is, VAR gives a referee an opportunity to make a judgment call.
But he was checking back to the prior foul and the collision between the players after the ball was whistled dead.
Right. But it's a judgment call. And what Howard Webb mentioned is that by no means am I a huge fan of VAR, but I'm just telling you what I know. Howard Webb, he says it multiple times throughout his little YouTube video he made. It's up to the referee to decide if they want to take the video assistant referee's advice. It's up to them. So it's not all the video. The video allows the referee to look back, but it's still gonna be Alan Kelly or who was referee the other game, Toledo or all these guys. It's all gonna be their decisions. It's not up to video. It's not like the video referee's like, all right, yeah, this is a definite red card. He's gone, and the ref has to do it. The ref has an option. Honestly, completely misinterpreted how they said it, but the ref has an option to implement it or not. If that makes any sense.
No, not at all.
Okay. So
no, I'm just messing with you. Yes, it makes sense, but what I'm saying, it doesn't make sense to the laws of the game. Where soccer is that free-spirited, referees are going to make mistakes. I think video replay, like I said, offsides or not, anytime a ball goes across the goal line, and if somebody scores, they check to see if it's offsides. And if it was offside, call it back. Simple. Penalty kicks, yes. Mistaken identity, yes. Okay.
Red card? Do you think red card should be reviewed?
I mean, what are you talking about? Red card for what?
I mean, if a ref gives you a straight red card.
The referees are referees. They're professionals, just like players are. They know what they're doing. Yes, the referee will make mistakes, but that's a beautiful thing about sports.
So what's the point of having VAR?
I think that's a good question.
So what's the point
but
of
to
having
me,
VAR
it's the goals, because the goals matter that much more. Maybe red cards. You could probably even throw in red cards. Maybe after a year, you throw in the red card implementation to see how it works. But the idea of soccer is it comes back to what we discussed with the NBC Sports package, and why Major League Soccer has an advantage across any other sport here in America. Is it's only a 90-minute game. You know what you're getting for 90 minutes.
Right.
You're not getting anything more or anything less. The same thing with the Premier League. That's why soccer, the Champions League, everybody knows. In the Central Time, the game starts at 1:45. It starts on time, unlike any other leagues. It starts on the right time, and it ends by 3:30, 3:40, depending on
stoppage
breaks,
time.
That.
Breaks.
So it comes down to that, and your VAR, and with the controversy of FC Dallas and the Kaká thing. Now, Kaká thing is a little bit different, but especially the FC Dallas incident. If this was Seattle versus Toronto, this would be a lot bigger deal.
Well, yeah, the stakes are higher compared to what we're doing right now. I think VAR is not essential, but I think it is needed because we need to come up with the times and whatnot. But I mean, we saw that it's going to be a growing process. We're going to have some pain in between.
It's definitely interesting. I so far I do not like it, and to the reaction of the crowd, nor do they.
Oh, they were booing all day. It's the loudest I've ever heard that crowd.
It's the loudest that stadium has been in a long time. Probably a whole year.
Oh, we're mean.
We are mean. Hey, thanks to Kenny Price for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod. We got a midweek show coming up, so tune in a couple days for that.
Cool guest coming in too.
Yes, we'll talk a little MLS transfers for sure. And plenty more. So,
I like
thanks
this
for
music.
listening.
I like this music.